Hi, everybody. Jeannie here with Makers Unify. While working on a fun spring project today. Spring-ish, summer-ish, outside-ish. I'm still anxious to get outside. Weather's not cooperating right now, so can't really get out. But I am going to take this pot and age it with some chalk paint, baking soda, some gray paint. I mean, it's got a little bit of aging on it. I did wash this. But that's fine because it's got a little bit of its own aging on it. And I'm going to, I picked these up at an estate sale, a bunch of these. I think they're like $1 a piece or something. So I really like terracotta. They last a long time. And you can paint them like this and you can do a bunch of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and point this down. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me just text. Can hear me. So I'm going to start out with the chalk paint. I don't know if I want to water it down. I can't remember. I've done this before. And I don't remember, honestly, if I've watered it down. This is pretty thick. So I may, I don't know. So I'm putting baking soda in there. I don't think I want to water it down. Probably wouldn't be a good idea. So just, so this is white chalk paint. Picked this up at Michael's, Joann's. Honestly, don't remember. Well, that won't be an issue for a while, right? Because Joann's is closing. So it'll be Michael's. Oops, that might be a little bit too much. Just kind of stir that together. Just kind of looking for a chunky consistency. Yeah, that's definitely too chunky. I do have a spoon somewhere. I should get a spoon. Where are my spoons? There. See, are they there? Is that them? Let's see. Nope. All right. Yes. Some more in there. Yeah, I do think I'm going to add some water to this. We'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to activate the baking soda a little bit, but it should be all right. I'm looking for like a chunky kind of like cement consistency. So I could just add a little bit more baking soda at a time. I want it a little more chunky, to be honest. So we'll see. Hi, Ken's. Can you hear me okay? Cool. Thank you. All right. See, it's not, I think the water kind of activated the baking soda. Or do you use cornstarch? No, I think it's baking soda. It's trying to get a little chunkier. Now, my thought was, to be honest, at first I was going to, I think I'll still do it this way. I was going to put this on and then go over spots in gray. Then I thought, well, why don't I just put the gray in here, to make it look old? But there's some parts that I know I want. I don't know why I'm picking up the whatever. Some spots I know I want to be white, like I want the white to show. So let's try this. Water. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna do some decor on this pot. Brought my drink of choice, so cheers. And I'm just using a chippy brush. These are like really cheap. You can get them at dollar store, Dollar Tree. Oops. Just be careful not to fling it all over the place like I just did. And just go ahead and paint it on nice and chunky. So I have to put royalty-free music on so I won't get flagged. And some of it's kind of bebop. And you don't have to be like, too perfect with this. Kind of want it to look chunky and textured. I sure did make a lot. Never know if I'm going to have enough, but I got plenty in here. I could do a couple of pots. So this is going to have to dry, but I'm going to try and use my heat gun. And hopefully that'll speed up the process so that I can continue working on it. All right. Let's see. I'm going to get in this inside a little bit, just like the first inch or so. Sorry, I got to change this. I like the jazzy kind of cafe type music. All right. So I will attempt to dry this with the heat gun. Still pretty wet. Trying to dry the inside as much as I could and get tested in there. So I won't leave a mess on the outside. Hi, Katie. It's fine. Somebody's chasing the dog on us there. Sitting there. Pretty good. You want to get the inside here a little bit better. All right. This should be good. Now Paint all over my hands. I'm gonna take this gray. I'm gonna probably lighten it up a little bit. So I want to do like a dusty gray on it, on top of it. Put that in here, and I can test it on the inside. Make sure I'm getting the color that I want. And I'm thinking I could use up some of this in there, but it might be too thick. So I think I'm just going to take this white acrylic. So has anybody gone to Joann's? See what kind of deals they got going on? I haven't been there lately. I think I was there last week, and they really, I mean, I would have found some things that I wanted to get if things go on sale like 70%, but otherwise it really didn't really find anything that I needed and couldn't live without. So, all right. Hey, that's going to be good. But am I going to need more? Do I want to water it down? I could start, and then if I need to, I can water it down. So, majority of it's going to be, I'm going to use this brush. I don't have another one. So I'm probably going to need more, but I could start. The majority of it is going to be gray because I'm aging this, right? So I think I'm going to just use the same brush and just, I'll start on the inside and see how it looks. That's going to be all right. Like I don't want, you know, the whole thing to be gray, just certain spots be heavier than others. And to use a chippy brush is because you don't need it to be smooth, and the chippy brush just gives you more of a textured look. We need more of the gray. I'll mix some more of the gray. Oopsie, a little too much white. All right. All right, this music's got to go. Why can't they have anything kind of, I don't know, just, I know it's royalty free, so it's not that musically produced, but the same little beat, kind of like an earworm gets stuck in your head. All right, I think that's good. Let me get underneath here a little bit. I like it. What do you think? Yeah, try and wipe some paint off my hands. I'll dry that, and then I thought I would put some I don't know, like a gecko, turtle, frog. This is the IOD mold. It's called Dewdrop Pond. I thought it would be fun. So let me dry this again, and then I'll decide. I might keep this in the house for an inside plant. Then I don't have to worry about, I mean, I could still spray the outside to protect it, with like a matte polyurethane. But I could just keep this in the house for plants. One of my house plants. All right, so what do we want to put on here? Let me know. What do you think? I have frog, hummingbird, gecko. Let me get this out of here. I'm not going to save this packaging. I always try to, but too much of a pain to get it back in. So I will not do that. Again, this one's called from Iron Orchard Design, and it's a Dewdrop Pond. So you can use resin with this. You can use clay, air dry clay. What else? It's food safe, compatible with most casting mediums. So you can mold chocolate in there if you wanted to. Well, we got couple of snails would be fun on the bottom. What do you think? Oh, there's a ladybug. Hmm. I think the gecko. That would be fun. Got a fern. Snails along the bottom. Just do a bunch of them, line them around the bottom. Or just one on each side. Or have them looking at each other. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Make a decision here. I kind of like the idea of the gecko. Maybe I'll do the gecko on one side and the dragonfly on the other side. All right, let's go with that. So this is cornstarch. And you use that to put in the mold before you put your clay down so that it releases better or easier. Yeah, they actually have a special little paintbrush I use. Just is it that one? I don't think it is. It's just fluffy, although it's got paint in it. So just a light dusting. What did I say? The gecko. Sure. Well, that got dusted a lot. Let's tap this out a little bit. And I have a garbage over there. I'm not dumping things on the floor, so. All right, so now I need my clay. And my clay of choice is the Sculpey air dry clay. Keep it very tightly wrapped. See, this is already kind of dry, even though I did have it wrapped pretty tight. But if you work with it, it should loosen up a bit. I wonder if I want to keep like a damp piece of paper towel in here. Keep the air out of it and keep it kind of moist, for lack of a better word. So let me just smoosh this together and it should hopefully loosen up a bit. It's pretty, it's not hard, it's just, you just want to make it more moldable. Get my handy dandy little tool. I got these at Dollar Tree. Little scrapey paint tools. All right. Should fit. This one might be a little bit difficult to release because there's so many intricate little toenails in the tail, and so I'm not going to do both at the same time just because I'm just going to do this one. Just kind of smush it all in there. Extra here, I can just, so then I take the tool and just kind of scrape it off, push it down and drag it and scrape it off. See, this part of the tail did not get filled. See, what I like about these molds is that they have a nice, they have a lip on them. So it's easier to get a nice clean outline. I believe it's a patent technology that IOD has. Well, it takes a little bit just to smooth it out, especially for these. Like I said, this one has a lot of detail on it with the toes and the toes and the tail. So hopefully I can get it out of here okay. Without ripping off any toes or tails. Tail. All right. Let's see what happens. Go ahead and try and release this. Just flip it over and gently push on the back. Said hopefully I think the toes are going to be difficult here. And that foot came out. This one does not want to come out. Doesn't want to come out intact. It wants to come out, just not intact. Give it to dry, and then it'll just totally crack when it comes out. All right, let me just put another piece of possible that it didn't get enough cornstarch to release it, but all right, I'm going to start with the head. If you know what, I gotta start it over. I start it over. Don't want to. Yeah, that's coming. It's gonna detach. Come on, dude. Keep your foot in there, or get your foot out. What do I have? Some kind of a tool. I have something I can try and scoop this out. Try it with this blade. So I really don't want to do it over again. I don't have to. This might work. Now let's hope the tail will get out. easily-ish. All right. Come on, gecko. There we go. All right, finally. Got the gecko out. And then I can just, I'm gonna get that blade back. Can I use the blade? Yeah, I'll just use the blade. Clean up the edges. It's kind of, you can tuck them under, or you can try and peel them off. It's almost like if you ever did ceramics, after it dries, you clean it up, which I could do after it dries, but it's just as easy to clean it up while it's still not dry, still malleable, pliable, smushable. Get in there and clean up the in between the toes. A lot of work for a little guy here. I think it's a gecko. What do you think? I might let the tail dry and then I'll clean that off because I'm afraid I'm going to rip the tail off. Kind of hard to get between the toes. There, if you're hearing all the noise upstairs, I'm in the basement and my husband's making dinner, so the kitchen's right above me. All right, gecko is done. I think I just cut a toenail off, or part of his toe. That might be all right. There's a little gecko or lizard, but I'm going to go with gecko. All right. Let me put this blade away. And the next one is the dragonfly, which I'm going to add a little bit more cornstarch on the tail. And I should be putting this clay away between uses, but just so that it doesn't get so dry. Actually, I might need a little more than that. All right. And I have wet this down a little bit, like just a little spray. Just to kind of make it more, softer, not as dry. All right. Oops, sorry, gecko. And it's also easier to smoosh it down in the molds when the clay is a little bit fresher. But I do think I'm going to put like a wet paper towel or damp paper towel in the bag with this so that it doesn't dry out so fast. Just trying to get the excess off the sides. I think I can use a tiny little bit in the tail. That way it makes it a little easier to get out and a little stronger. And the neck looks like it needs a little bit in there. It's filling in the gaps. All right. I think that's good. This back in here. I'll put the paper towel in later. All right. Let me get this out of the mold. Hopefully it'll be easier than the gecko. Should be. The only problem would be the head and the tail, but I think I should be good. There we go. There's the dragonfly. And you can just kind of tap the sides to kind of smooth out the sides with excess clay. That's there. There we go. Something on that, but I'm going to end up painting these anyway. So. And then you can wash these with soap and water. Sometimes you might have to let it dry a little bit, let the clay dry so that you can just pop it out of there. Do I always wash them? No, I don't, to be honest, unless they get pretty bad. All right, so now I have Titebond glue is what I use to glue them on. Get a little paint brush that I use. I like to use like a stiffer brush. I'm gonna have to figure out where I want these. I need that glue, but no, I'm just gonna probably place that right there. And you want to put them on when the clay is still pliable so that it can mold to your whatever you're gluing it on. Need something to hold this so it doesn't roll because I need the glue. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up his belly a little bit. Shake down the glue. Just put a bead along the edge there, along the middle, I should say. And then paint it on. Some people use their fingers to go ahead and spread that out, but I prefer to use a brush. This does dry clear, but you don't really want it to overflow too much on the edges, just so you don't have a mess. But you want to make sure you get a decent amount of glue on here, especially these little toes. This will take a couple hours to dry. His toes and his tail. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and put him kind of crawling up the side here. And I'll show you in a minute. Just gently press him down, because otherwise you're going to lose some of the outline, texture, what would you call it? Parts of the mold. I am going to get my little tool here and get some of these pieces off that snuck out. I can spread out his toes. Now that I think about it, with him glued on here, it probably won't be easy to clean up any of the excess clay. So we want to tap the little toes down so they stay. I said this will dry clear. Right, so that's the gecko. I'm a little concerned his head's not staying down, or his little toes. I'm going to gently lift his foot here and sneak some glue under there. Maybe that'll stay down better. If you're really creative, you can kind of carve some, I don't know, do geckos have scales? You can maybe outline some of the scales if you wanted to, but I am not going to attempt, but because I'll make a mess. All right. Hopefully that'll stay while I flip it to the other side. So there's the gecko. I will let this dry on here. And I'm a little concerned because he's not totally flat, but I don't want to smoosh him too much, you know? But I think he'll be good. So that's the gecko. And then I will put the dragonfly on the other side. Then I got to determine tomorrow, when this is dry, what color I might want to paint these, or do I just want to age them like everything else? Which is probably what I'll do. With the gray, I guess. Maybe a lighter gray. What do you think? Yeah, this one's going to be messy. I put a lot of glue on this one. So it's going to ooze out the sides. So I can do one or two things. Just let it ooze out the side. It does dry clear, but it might just be clumpy. Or I can try and scrape some of it off with the brush here, which is kind of what I did. So now when you're putting the other side on, you don't want to, I can't put it down or it'll smush the gecko. So, and this is the tricky part too. Can I flip this without getting glue all over my hands? Probably not. There's no easy way about it. So, I got glue all over his head as it oozed out. Yeah, this is messier than I wanted it to be. So, that's okay. I don't mind getting messy with my hands is what I'm talking about. I'm not worried about this. Yeah, I don't mind getting messy, but I'm just worried about if I touch something else after I've got glue or paint all over my hands. I don't want to mess up part of my project with that. So what I'm going to do is wipe out some of this glue on this paintbrush and my fingers so that I can kind of scoop some of it out from his head or her head, because there's a lot of glue oozed out. I got a lot of glue ooze. So I want to clean that up. Can't have the glue ooze. All right. So I think those are good. Hopefully they will dry. Okay, see this gecko's head just keeps wanting to pop off here. I'm going to put a little more glue on that side. So there's the dragonfly. And then I'm going to put some more on the gecko. Maybe I want to totally, no, I don't want to totally take them off. Lift his head and shove some glue under there. Hold it for a minute and hope it will stick. So I have used the air dry clay for outside pots before, and I'm pretty sure I sprayed them with an acrylic. But after first year was fine, and I do store my pots in the barn during the winter. The second year they started to crack off, so they will crack off. I don't know about resin. I've never tried resin. I know people have. So if you have tried resin, let me know if that's a better alternative for using air dry clay on outdoor pots. Like I said, I think I might keep this inside because it's so cute. I mean, not that it wouldn't be cute outside, but it's just like, it's fun. I can make another one so that it has a matching, matching set. Or one similar to it, which is probably what I'll end up doing. See, he's not. See, I should have just gobbed him up with glue, but he'll be fine. It'll stick. But I can just see a gap right here in his belly. If you can see that. So, all right. What do you think? Tomorrow I will paint the gecko and the dragonfly, which I need to figure out how or what, or I just want to use this gray wash here on there. So we'll see. Thanks, Katie. All right. So thank you so much for stopping by. I will be here next Thursday at 6:30 Eastern again. Janie with Makers Unify. Make sure to follow me on all the socials. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, right? YouTube, of course, because you're here. Make sure you're subscribing. Get notifications so that you know when I go live. That would be helpful. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you next week. Find my mouse.